All right, we are. Okay. We're streaming live on YouTube. That's what it's telling me. And hello, everybody. Thank you for being here with us and for sharing this. And I got to mute it over on my other screen because it's playing so I can see who comes into the chat room. But here we are live, and we're going to give it a couple minutes. So we'll do our little chatting that we normally do while everybody's coming into our live feed. I think there might be a way for me to share this over to Facebook as well. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know if I'm doing that correct.
Glad you're sorting out the technology, because sometimes it's a little beyond me.
Yeah, you guys are used to watching me looking at the other screen, trying to figure out all the technology that's coming in. I don't see anybody coming in yet. It says one watcher, and that's me. So, so here we got. We've got one in here. Danielle. What a wonderful name to bring into the Acrturian Daniel show. So wonderful Absolutely. To see you. Here they're all coming in. Hello, you guys. All right. So we definitely have a nice lineup of questions. Everybody is so good about getting those questions on the videos and letting us know what it is they would like to know more about, or even the personal questions, which is awesome. So we do have a beautiful group of people coming in. We got Margaret, we got, I'm going to say Barb, because to say the whole thing, Barb is, yeah, I can't do it. Sorry, Barb. Tack, and I mess yours up too, and I'm sorry, viral. I don't know. I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry. But you guys are so amazing. I know that we had, when I was looking at the questions that you compiled, and I'm going to have you explain how you do that so the audience can understand why certain questions get picked and why others haven't, and why they're in the order that they're in, because they're not necessarily in the right or the same order that they came in as well. But it's pretty cool. But it was fun to see that the questions were coming from all over the world.
Yes.
So that was really neat. And so anyways, I'm going to have you explain to people your system for picking how the questions get picked, because I think it's the most, I like the way that you're doing it, because you don't have to sit there and go, oh, which one's a good question, which one's not. You take yourself out of it.
Completely and utterly. So I print out the list of questions as they come in from all the from the different videos and so on, and then I use this pendulum to sort out the orders. So I lay out all the sheets of the questions there, and I ask, is this, to start with, is the first question on this page, yes or no, until it picks the page. And then I hold the pendulum over the individual questions, asking whether, is this the first one? Yes or no, blah, blah, blah. And so it's the pendulum that actually picks the order. So cool. I have no input into the order, which I think is excellent that the pendulum picks it. And yeah, it's really interesting. And there's quite a mix of different questions. So it's not all sort of going in one stream or whatever. It's all over, and very, very, very specific. Like, there is no confusion whatsoever with what the pendulum picks. So yeah, it's quite fascinating. So then I shift them all around into that order, and away we go.
And away we go. And I love, Judy and I were looking at her background today. The light fragments that are coming in from her overhead lights are bringing in beautiful crystalline energy today, all the rainbow light. So we've got some good communication coming in today. Can't wait. We have a special surprise for you guys as I let you continue to come in. We got a pretty good group coming in right now. I mean, there's like 3 people. That's it, Judy. That's it. Judy's going to channel for us today.
Yeah, me and the spare screen. Yes.
I don't want to tell her how many of you guys are watching. We don't want her to get nervous, but she's going to do a live channel for us. not quite sure what's going to come through, but she's going to bring through a message, maybe some light language, and she's going to get this thing kickstarted for us. But before we go into all of that, I just keep watching more and more people. I mean, 2 people showed up. No, I love it. Everybody, come on, let's go. Get on here. Let's give Judy some love. She's going to talk about a workshop she has coming up. Then I'll talk about my workshops, and then we'll do the channeling. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Love how you're right between the cat's eyes.
Oh, yes. And for anybody that might be asking, this is a nice close-up of my beautiful ginger boy.
So cute.
Very obligingly suffered many photos to get this.
That's a pretty good picture that it came through so focused. Yeah.
So yes, on Monday, the 27th of June at 3 p.m. Pacific time, and for our Australian viewers, that's 8 a.m. on Tuesday, the 28th, on Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be doing this 1-hour workshop on the connection that you have with your pet. So it can be a current pet, it can be one that has already passed away, but it's exploring much, much more deeply where that pet actually fits into your life. Just to give you an example, with my ginger boy here, I know that I had a very, very, very special connection with him, constantly by my side. He was a rescue cat, so I didn't have him from a kitten. And I experienced in my other life a very tall, upright, leonine or feline masculine being that is my right hand person in the work that I do in that existence. And that was the connection. The cat that I have here now is the aspect of that being in my other life. So that was pretty profound, and it really, really explained the connection with this cat. And so I'm attempting to show you yours in this workshop. So coming to the workshop, I probably would suggest that it's not necessarily a good idea to have your pet with you, because the energy might really, really disrupt them and they might go a bit crazy.
I'm going to say
also probably
though, Judy, you know, when I do sessions with people that have animals, the animals seem to want to come into the room. Okay. I'm sitting here with 3 dogs in my room with me right now, so I don't know that the energy is too intense. It seems familiar to them. So this is a link that's going to be online. Anyone can participate, donation based. And how would they find this to sign up? I know we're going to put a link in the description box, but we're live right now, so I don't have that link. So don't go looking for it. Unless you're watching the replay of this, the link will be down below in the description box. But is there another place people can go to sign up?
My email address will also be down the bottom, and if people like to send me an email, I'll send them the link, because I'm just going to make it available to this collective here.
Awesome. Yes. You guys are so special. Look at what you get. Okay, so you're getting a lot of hellos in the chat. Everybody's saying, they're saying that they love us together. Of course you love us together, yes. So the little applause hands are coming up for you, Judy. And Roger says, hi, Boomer. So what's that about?
That is Boomer is
hey,
my
Roger.
pet.
Oh, Boomer's the pet. Oh, I thought maybe that was a special name for you, because that had already left my mind. So Roger, we're trying to get Judy out here for the channeling and light language workshop. I know he was asking if you were going to be able to come out. We're just waiting for things to open up a little bit more. But
just a little bit more. They cracked open a little bit more yesterday too, but it's
still not there.
Big enough for me to slip through that crack.
That's right. Okay.
So
hey, here's somebody for you. Bonnie, you need to do this because she's on day 2 of a new puppy. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that too. Bonnie says, Daniel talked about members of the collective last week who were going to get puppies, and one of them is me. I forgot about that. I forgot about that transmission where he said there's going to be some people adding puppies. But this would be an amazing workshop to attend to find out how that puppy fits. That's going to be amazing. Such a neat and exciting thing to do, to figure out how these little fur babies are part of our collectives. I love it.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. All right.
So I'm looking forward to that. And so as Tracy said, the link will be below when it's no longer live. And if anyone somehow misses that link, my email will be there as well. Just message me and I'll send it to you.
Yay. So exciting. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now I'm going to bore you guys a little bit with some of my workshops coming up, and boring in a good way because they're going to be so exciting. On the 26th, if you were somewhere local to the Washington, Oregon area, in Amboy, Washington, I'm doing a sound healing and journey with Daniel workshop. It is donation based also. And that is with James McGinley, who is going to be doing the sound healing. And that's going to be not this Sunday. Oh, this Sunday's Happy Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to everybody. So that's going to be the following weekend, the following Sunday on the 26th of June. Then, and that information, all of this information that I'm giving you is going to be down below. How about we just do that? And then, so then the next workshop I have coming up in person is the Channeling and Light Language Workshop. I don't have any of the 1 or 2 hour with Daniel workshops right now because I got so many other things going on. Not that I won't wake up one morning and go, oh, I need to put one together, because that always can happen. But the Channeling and Light Language Workshop is going to be in Salem, Oregon. That one is 3 days long, and it is going to be 3 days. It's about 2.5 days of workshop where we're going to do light language, we're going to do channeling, we're going to practice, we're going to ask questions, we're going to go on journey work. There's going to be a lot of interaction. The best place to go for that information would be my website, tracymahan.com, because it's going to have information about a hotel that's local, campground that's nearby. That kind of stuff is all on my website, where it's not on the actual link that's going to be in the description box. But if you're interested in learning channeling and light language and you want to do that with a group of people, we're getting a really nice group of people together. And hopefully Judy is going to be able to fly out, but if not, maybe we'll just bring you in through Zoom one of the days or something and just have you as a guest appearance. But that'll be a fun one. And then the next one I have coming up is August 6th. I'm doing a group conference day. There's going to be 6 different lectures with a group of lovely colleagues that we're going to put together. And it's going to start at 10 a.m. Central and it ends about 8 p.m. Central. And there's going to be 6 one-hour lectures and then a panel of questions and answers at the end. So please check that out, because that's also going to be a very exciting event that just kind of came together. It was again one of those things that just fell together, like, let's do this. Okay. And boom, it happened. So very excited about those. All of that information you'll find down below or on the website. Okay. Judy. And I'm going to put a little heart around Judy. She's going to bring us into this today I'm just going to let you tell us what your intention is. What are you going to do with us right now?
I'm thinking that I shall be speaking some light language.
All right. So do we all want to close our eyes for that, or?
I think so, yes.
All right.
And, yeah.
All right. I'm getting ready. Now, just to take some of I kind of put Judy up to this and threw it at her. And I'm so excited you're doing it because I know what a treasure you are and I want the rest of the world to know too. So here she is. She's going to bring it in for all of us. I'm going to close my eyes and enjoy the journey.
Just before we do that, though, it's very important to just say this, and I'm saying this on behalf of this beautiful collective of beings, that we greatly appreciate all that you do, Tracy. You show up every week with your 5-card pull, with the messages from Daniel. You just do so much, and we receive so much out of all that. So on behalf of everybody, thank you so much for being there for so many people.
And what a lucky straw I pulled when that became my journey. And I thank you guys all for being here with me, because I couldn't do it without any of you. So yeah, I thank you for saying that. That's so precious. So oh, interesting. Hold on just a second. What does that want to show? Oh, very sweet. Okay. There was one of the comments that I had to give permission for it to show. So that was cool. We're getting lots of love. Flowers are being thrown at us. This is all good. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, Judy, the floor is all yours. I'm going to close my eyes.
Ishkanama ulsi siama in shiama u yama a si kiama shiama ukuna in yama sia chunyana iknama ukum siama chiama sinyo. We welcome you all today, and we thoroughly enjoy our interactions through this channel, through this medium. We bring you great love and support, and we are entertained by you all. So we do enjoy being here with you and look forward to many more interactions with this beautiful, beautiful collective of people. Thank you. And now it's Tracy's turn.
That was so pretty. And I probably should have allowed myself to do it, but I knew I was also on camera. So I was like, I wanted to be reaching up here. There was all this energy up above me that was coming in when you were doing the light language. And that energy, the light behind you, was just a perfect reflection of how amazing that vibration was. So thank you for doing that.
It was actually a little different to the language was slightly different, so a little bit unfamiliar with that.
Yeah. You have the audience relaxing and thank you. You guys are awesome. Anahita's in there. She says, you've been part of my journey for a long time. She's known me since, gosh, it goes way back, years. Back when I was pretty much just doing the readings is when I think we met. But yeah, absolutely. There's so many people that keep popping up on the screen, and you know, some of you guys I've had these sessions with, and these memories will pop in. So and who knew this was just going to be a reminiscing? And I thought Mercury retrograde, where we're all in the revisiting stages, were gone, but I have a theory that Mercury in retrograde did not go away.
Really?
Oh my gosh, what's with the technical difficulties going on lately? And it was like, I don't think Mercury ever went direct. Just like Oregon didn't get the memo that it's summer. Seriously, I'm going to tell you right now, we're sitting at 66 degrees and it's cloudy, and it's been cloudy all day. Clouds, rain, off and on. I didn't have
summer like that.
Yeah, it's been it's probably going to get super hot in August or something to pay us all back for it. But it's like, I'm not asking for it to be hot. I just would like the sun to come out once in a while. It's been overcast here for centuries, I think. And it's like, come on, just a little sunshine. But I will tell, I went camping this last weekend. And so I'm towing this 25-foot trailer for the first time with the pickup that I just got. I towed it one other time with my dad's pickup. This was my first with this one. And if you don't live in Oregon, there's Highway 84 goes through the gorge. That's what that's called, is the gorge. And there's wind gusts. It's beautiful on a beautiful day, but on a miserable day, it is the scariest freaking road you can ever be on. And I did it with a 25-foot trailer for the first time. So off I go. It's pouring down rain, and I'm following a caravan of my parents. It was my parents, me, and one of my sisters. We all went into Eastern Oregon for a couple of nights. And let me tell you, there is a God. He saved my life. I got hit with such a gust of wind on the way home that I was doing this and this and then once I was safe, then I was doing this. No. But there's just, we get reminded quite often that, there's so much more, that we live in such a fantastic and amazing reality and world. And you know how I am, it's like I went through that experience and it was quite scary. And when I got hit and my whole vehicle went like this, and I'm like this in my truck going, I got to keep this thing on the road. And then there's a semi truck that's trying to pass me on the left. And I'm like, why now? Here we are. Anyways, get everything straightened out. And then the weather just kind of calmed down. It was just that one little patch, and we hit it right at the worst weather at the worst place. It was really synchronistic. And anyways, of course, then I had about another hour and a half of driving where I had a conversation. Why did you do that? Why did I have to go through that? Why did I have to have my heart jump up in my throat and all the goodies? And it was to show me that I could weather any storm. And beautiful. Even when you're pushed around, even when you're, you think you don't have control of something, you're going to be okay. You're going to come out of this okay. So whoever needed to hear that popped in for me to share that story. But yeah, it's an incredible ride sometimes when we're here, and the messages, they come in some pretty crazy ways sometimes. So pay attention to what's going on in your world, because it might have a message for you, even when it's trying to throw you off the road into a river. But I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all.
Very dramatic way to illustrate it, but boy, it sure got the point across, didn't it?
That's right. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna get us jumped into this. So time stamper. I hope we've got Chris time stamping for us here. I know he's in another part of Australia that's still sleeping. So when he gets to this video, I think he was going to timestamp it for us. So I want to pre-thank him for that. And if not, there's no pressure to do that, Chris. But if you don't mind doing it, we're going to get started now. So I'm going to go get Daniel.
Can you just let me know when it's enough? When you've...
I will. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. When we get... so this is how it's going to... I was thinking about that earlier going, okay, so... last time, I think I had something else I had to get to. This time, I don't have that going on. So at about an hour mark, check in.
Okay.
And then usually 90 minutes is a really good time frame to be in, but you can check in at 90 minutes, especially if we are almost there, and see if I have anything left in me to take it all the way. Maybe I'll hydrate one more time before we do this. I would love it if we accomplished. How many questions do we have today? Do you know?
I think there's 22 today.
22. Okay.
22. Yes.
We got this. All right. I'm going to go get Daniel. Let's see what we can get through. I have 22 questions. Okay. Okay. I hope everybody gets what well, I know everybody will get what they need to hear today. That's going to be wonderful. So calling in our gatekeepers, only the highest and best can come through today. And here we go. You guys were having all the fun without me. I was chomping at the bit, ready to get in here, ready to come in and play. Did I not tell you that the energy was going to get lighter and better and more fun? Isn't it this the second week of June, or past the second week, going into third week of June? Is it not lighter? Is it not more fun? Is it not rolling forward a little bit easier than it has been for the last several weeks? Do you feel the difference, Judy?
Yes, I do. I do. It's manifested in different ways, but definitely, yes, it's much lighter.
Yes, and a lot more, not more bubbly energy. It's easier to get into the higher vibrations right now because the energy frequencies, we have been moving energy into your planet, working with your human structure, working with your DNA, working with your mind, and opening up different facets, opening up different channels for you. Different ways of communicating and moving some energy around. And that can sometimes feel very heavy, very dense. You're all very energetic beings. So when energy is in flux, you feel it. Your physical bodies will feel it. And so now we're just doing a little reprieve of that, and you get to breathe for a moment, right? There's going to be a few little things here and there, but nothing like what you've been going through until we reach the latter half of the year. As we said before, we believe it'll come in around November for you, and it'll start getting a little denser again, a little bit thicker of energy, but you're going to have, you personally may not feel it as the denser energies that you had this time, because now you have acclimated, you have moved, you have shifted, and you are bringing your energies into a new place, into a new form, so that when you go forward in November, it's not going to hit you the same way. And you might not even notice it at all, in fact. So let's put that out there to the universe, right? Okay, you have a lot of questions for us. Tracy's in the background going, chop, chop. Let's get to the questions. Yes, so we will let you read them away.
All right, the first one is from Northern Lights. Wanting to know about using timelines to manifest. So I'll just read what's said here. Can you create something intentionally on a timeline, but not necessarily be on that timeline at that moment, but then jump into it at a later time, at a later point?
Absolutely. They call that when you become the energetic match to it. So you're creating all the time, and you're putting out your dreams in many different forms, and maybe you're putting out your fears in many different forms, and those are all creating timelines. And then when you become the energetic match to one, you jump onto that one. So to answer that question, yes, that is exactly a great point, that you are creating these other versions, these other outcomes, if you will, and then you get to become the energetic match. So maybe you succumb to the fear this time and you become the energetic match to a fear-based outcome. Or maybe you succumb to this joyful, why not have it this way outcome, and you get to choose. And there is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. There is no up or down, right? You just have an experience with all of it. And so we say to you, choose the one that feels the best, and then you'll be on that one and you'll find that outcome. But yes, we agree that that does sound accurate the way it is written.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Remzo Arman asks, is that this month in June, he's heard that there is some stabilizing of the lower three chakras to eliminate fear.
Mm-hmm.
Can you expand on that?
Well, we agree with that, yes. And we think that might be also what we are expressing to you, is that some of the denser energies are falling away right now and you're being lifted up. So you are being shifted in the lower three chakras with the fear-based energies, because what has happened is that the way we want to say it is the electromagnetism of the energy that has been coming in. We're not sure we use those words right. We're using, we always want to remind you all to, one, use discernment. Two, remember we're using Tracy's brain to bring you the words and the information. So we use the best words we can find in her vocabulary to bring you forward the messages. So what we want to say is that that the lower three chakras hold those fear-based energies, those more primal energies. And the energy that has been coming into the planet has been focused on those energies, those chakras, to bring up those things that needed to be healed, bring up those things that needed to be looked at, bring up the things that needed to be addressed, and removed belief systems and implants of any kind of ideas, thoughts, programming, whatever it is, feelings that have been buried, that have been stored in those lower chakras. They've all been coming up, and as you have been healing and looking at them and addressing them. And this hasn't just been the last month, the last 2 months. This has been over the last 3 years or more or better. We have been coming in and really pushing and really pushing and really pushing these energies, because everybody wants ascension fast, right? Until it starts happening fast. And there's like, oh, I can't handle that. It's a lot. It is a lot to look at these things. It is a lot to move through these energies. And so we say to you, trust the path that you have put yourself on. You are the designer of this path. You are the one that has made the outline to this life that you are living. So trust what you are going through, trust what's coming up for you, work through it the best you can. Whatever it is you are going through in your life that feels hard and tumultuous and heavy, trust that it is time to work through that now. Don't run from it. Sometimes it's easier to pretend it's not there and to ignore it and to run away from it. But we say to you, please don't do that. Why? Why? Tracy says in her head, why can't I run away from these problems? Well, we tell you what, every time that you have ignored it, it becomes a bigger mountain to overcome, right? And so every time that you have not looked at something or have let that feeling fester and fester and fester, it becomes something bigger to deal with. The energy amplifies around the situation. So the sooner you look at it and address it, all of a sudden it goes whoosh and goes away. And so looking at it, addressing it, and being present with it may not feel good in the moment, but we tell you what, it's going to be like taking the shackles off of you. Once you do it, you're going to be freed from that. And it's going to feel so good and so light and so powerful. And so as we go back to Remzo's question, are those lower chakras going to have relief? Yes, because you've been working so hard. And yes, you are going to feel the relief of that. And life is going to feel lighter right now. It's a great time for manifesting because your energy is lighter and you're in more of a manifestation vibration. It's easier to become the vibrational match to the actual desire at hand. When you're not in the fear, you are able to manifest and create the reality of your desire. So that was a very long version of a yes.
Always a good version, though.
Yes, very happy to bring those new energies, right? Everybody's very happy to step into something lighter. So sorry, go ahead and ask the next one.
Claudia writes, as an energy healer, how do I know who is actually requiring her assistance as opposed to the lessons needed to help themselves without her interference?
Well, we have a good golden rule for that. Do not offer unsolicited advice. In other words, if they did not ask, do not tell. If they are sharing a story, just ask them more questions. Well, what would you like to have happen? How would you like that to be different? But you don't need to offer them more than, or you can let them know of your services. But if they do not ask for the assistance, then maybe they're not ready for that. You can tell them what you do if they are not familiar with your process. We know Claudia, so we know that she offers some very amazing, beautiful energy work, and she is a very high vibrational being. If anybody ever has the pleasure of meeting her, it'll be a good day. And so we say just by being there, Claudia, you are already lifting their energy, even if your mouth never opens, even if your hand never touches their hand. It is okay, because your intention is to bring healing, and that is what you will bring no matter what interaction you are having. Even sometimes we get confused sometimes. We think, oh, I'm a healer, but that transaction didn't go very well, or I just got in a fight with somebody, or I had an argument over here. Well, you must keep in mind that when you say, Source, I want to be of service to the world, right? And we know a lot of you say it like that. I want to be of service. Then source energy says, oh, good, because this person over here needs to know that their behavior is not something good right now. So we're going to come in and create an argument so that they have to look at that. And you're going to be the other person in the argument so that they'll have to look at that. And so sometimes you're not always used in a way that is fluffy and, as you might say, the rainbows and unicorns, right? You might be used in a way that is aggravating somebody, that is pushing somebody, that is annoying somebody, because they're trying not to look at something that they need to look at. And so Source will use you as a conduit to reflect back to them something they need to look at, something that irritates or aggravates. And that might be happening with you as well. Maybe somebody that you care about is being used in that same way. They're coming in and they're pushing your buttons. And so that's when you self-reflect, right? And it's teaching everyone to self-reflect. And some people that don't have the tools to do that, it may take them a little bit longer, but Source might be using you in their path to create potholes in the road, to slow them down and make them look at it, right? And so know that you are being of service just by breathing the air you breathe. You are going to come into contact with exactly who needs to hear what you have to say, with exactly the conversation that needs to happen. How many of you have ever gone home and said, I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I reacted the way I did. That's not like me. No, it's not like you, but you volunteered to be of service. And so Spirit used you to say those words or to react or respond the way you did. It makes a little more sense when that happens, and you can be like, oh, okay, I see what happened there, because that's not normally something I would say to somebody or do or react to. And so just know that when you are of service in such a way that you are used in many different ways in being that conduit to help another person. You cannot do it wrong. You cannot say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, because we'll tell you why. The person that you are interacting with will only hear the parts that they needed to hear. All the rest will fall away. And so whatever it is that you are saying, even if you think you said too much, they will hear the parts they needed to hear and the rest will fall away. That is true for you as well. You'll hear the parts you need to hear and the rest will fall away. Have any of you ever had somebody apologize for something that you didn't even remember they did? But it was weighing on them because it was their trigger. It was something they needed to work on and be aware of and be more considerate of. But you didn't even realize they said it or had forgotten about it, or it didn't mean the same thing to you as it meant to them. And so it goes around, right? It goes full circle. We're all here playing this interactive game together. And it is quite a powerful and unique one. And as you pay attention and as you keep evolving and as you keep awakening and expanding the mind, you're going to start seeing more and more of this become more clear to you as you interact in the day-to-day stuff. And you're going to start to notice that drama and turmoil and tumultuous things start to fall away. And the things that used to bother you will no longer bother you. Why? Because you've healed those lower 3 chakras. See how we tied 2 of them together there. Okay, we'll let you ask the next question.
That was just such a wonderful answer. There was so much in that. That was fantastic. Thank you, Daniel.
Absolutely. It's the things we don't think about, right? We don't realize when we ask to be of service, we all think it's fluffy stuff. And it's not always the fluffy stuff that gets the best results. So just know you are of service, even in the battles, right?
Yeah, such a shift in perspective on that. That's fabulous. Yeah. Okay, Unicorn Stables feels really connected to crystals and had a dream about, and I may not be pronouncing this right, Arcturianite. and they didn't know what it was, but then soon after found a sphere of it and took it home. They'd like to know what you can tell about this experience.
We want you to say the name again, just because it started with unicorn.
The name is Unicorn Stables.
Unicorn Stables, yes.
Yes.
What do you wants to know? What about this crystal? Why was this crystal brought to her attention? And we want to say this crystal is meant to open chakras, as most crystals are, to open and enlighten and clear energy and move things and enlighten things. So of course, when your higher self is ready for the next level of vibration, the next level of opening the throat, the third eye, moving that energy out, and we love it when they do this. You have mantis beings that are trying to communicate with you, and we know because they're trying to say it through us at this time. You are connected to the mantis beings, and they want you to know that they will bring you into another level of awareness. They're going to bring you into another level of telepathy, into another level of your own intuition, as far as your empath abilities, your intuition, your thoughts, all the forms of intuition that you would like to work on. They are right there to work with you, and they're very excited about it. They're very excited. Everybody's energy is so high today. We want to thank you for bringing the highest and best self today, and we thank you for being part of this collective, because everyone that is responding to this message right now, it is for you. There is a collective of mantis beings that are very, very excited about getting everyone to the next level of their intuition, of their telepathy, of their abilities to be more in tune psychically, not just to themselves, to the world, to the universe, to the star seeds, to the collectives, to the whole thing, everything that ever existed. You are gaining more and more access to it. Ask them for help. They want to show you how to do it. Beautiful. But yes, that stone, that crystal is working very special with the throat chakra and the third eye is what we're seeing. So we hope that is answering that question.
Good information there. Okay. Amy A is wondering what her role is in the hybrid program, and she also says, thank you so much for all the upliftment that you bring.
Thank you, Amy. The hybrid program, you have it in many layers. Sorry, we are looking to see. We want to say that there's so many more things to say, so we don't want to get people confused. There are many versions of you, Amy, many incarnations of you. You are one aspect of the soul, and so you have connections with the hybrid system on many levels. You are part of the hybrid system in another incarnation where you are working in the facility. You are one of the ones that helps to facilitate the hybrids, the simulation, or the what is the word we are looking for? You help to bring the hybrid program together. You are working directly with it, and you are also here in a human form through another aspect of that soul, where you are infused with this hybrid program. We keep wanting to say you are hybrid, but then they keep correcting us, and they're saying you're not. We don't even know how to translate for you. You are infused with hybrid vibrations and frequencies, but you were not you are not a child of a hybrid DNA. Maybe that's the way to say it. But your eggs have been harvested your DNA has been harvested for the program, and you are infused with the energy of the hybrids. You carry 7 different species of vibrations within you. And we think this is one of those things that may be too layered to bring in a full understanding of it today, but just imagine yourself standing under 7 different colors of light, and all those lights are coming into your body. You have the ability to hold and sustain these frequencies of the vibrations of 7 star council or star seed species. and you have children. The reason you have this ability is because you have children in the hybrid system that also carry these DNA markers. And so this one is not as easy to explain. It would be easier to show if we could do like a hologram of something and show you how you are surrounded in these energies, but we hope we are explaining it okay. And you are a communicator, you are a telepathic communicator. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. You were born with all the eggs that you'll ever carry, right? And so you could have become part of this hybrid program. You could have children as old as you, because the egg could have been harvested from even from the womb, if you think about it. And so you have been part of this in a very expansive way. One of the species has wings. We see that. They want us to show you it has wings. So if you resonate with wings, if you find yourself drawn to that, or feel that feeling that people get in their back, like they used to have wings and they want to shake their wings off, right? And move their wings. You have a lot of connections. Start exploring that. Start meditating on it. Ask to see. Ask to go to these worlds and to these places. Ask to see your hybrid children. Ask to see the connection to the other version of yourself that is part of this collective, that is working with the hybrid, working closely with the hybrid program and implementing it and watching over the hybrid children. Very exciting stuff. You could probably even write a book about it if you were able to connect with that and start pulling in the information.
Wow, that's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
It's interesting that you mentioned about the wings, because I know there's a question a little bit further on about wings.
Wonderful.
Wait to get there. The next question is from Chik in Turkey, who very kindly told me how to pronounce the name, and is very happy about his job and life at the moment, but has a feeling that some very special and beautiful things are just about to happen. Can you give him any hint or suggestions as to what might be coming?
We see a yellow tulip, and we're not sure what the symbology of that is, but we want to say it because it came in so very strong, a yellow tulip. And so we want you to know, very beautiful energy. We remember her. We remember her. And we want to say that there is something good that is coming. There is a remembering that will happen, that has already started to happen. And as that remembering happens and the vibrations change, just think about that. Every time you learn something new, every time that you change your mind, delicious words. Every time you change your mind, your vibration changes. Every time you let go of an old program, put in a new one, your vibration changes. So as you start opening up to some new ideas about how powerful and beautiful and amazing, and how much you are in the flow of the universal energy, how you are connected to all things, your energy is going to change. And when your energy changes, when you allow for that flow of energy to change within you so that you are more open to the possibilities, it's almost like when we're seeing it like a river that has a dam in it, and the dam breaks free, and all that energy can come through now, all that water can come through now. And so it's going to come rushing in, and it's going to make a lot of changes, and you're going to be so excited to make those changes. And when you do, it's going to become the energetic match to something you've been waiting for a very long time. And that's going to come into your life, and it's going to be better than you even had hoped for. So what was it, the last week, we think it was, where we kept hearing the let go of the little teddy bear and let Jesus bring you the big teddy bear, right? That whole theme. Let the universe bring you the big teddy bear. That's for everybody. Let the big teddy bear come. And Tracy is giggling because the big teddy bear has been such a theme for the last 2 weeks for her. And she, not only did she have stories to tell about the big teddy bear, but now she sees big teddy bears everywhere, and she just giggles because she knows the universe is saying, Open up and open up to the flow of all things, and the big teddy bears will start flooding in, right? And let the big teddy bear be there. And so something big, something beautiful that you have been waiting for, when you open up in that frequency and that vibration. Now we know that, or we are thinking that the next question in your head, this is what we are picking up on. How do I get there faster? Right? Everybody wants to know, how do I get there faster? Don't do that, because it's in that wanting for it faster that you are actually blocking it. So how do you get there faster? Quit doing that and just be open. Just relax, breathe, and know that everything is coming into alignment in the most perfect time. And that everything that seems like it's getting in the way, that is just an illusion. Just allow that to flow away. The less energy you give it, the less time it stays there, right? How many times have we all played with that, where something comes in and it feels like it's a block? And when you're focused on, go, oh no, this happened, this happened, this happened. And then it seems like it doesn't go away. Or you've had the other times where something has come in and you're like, oh, that's not a big deal. We can figure that out. And then next thing you know, it doesn't seem like it's a problem at all. And you're right back on your road, right back on the way. And so we say to you, just open up, relax, be in whatever is happening today. And know that when you are in energy, in the most joy in that way, it allows for the universe to really start bringing you everything you've ever wanted. Breathe in, breathe out, right? And just be like, I am open for the most beautiful outcome that could ever come across my path. The happiest, most joyful life that I could ever even imagine. And I know the universe is bringing that to me. And I know that I live in a world that supports me. And I know that everything I do it with the highest of best intentions. And I come from a place of love, and I'm evolving in that. And I'm letting the world around me reflect that back to me. Feels good, right?
It's wonderful.
So hopefully that will answer her question as well. But bringing in, just let go of all the wanting and the needing and the wishing it could go faster and why isn't it here yet? Then we're hearing a lot of people chiming in right now going, oh yeah, I do that. And including the one that we're speaking through, right? And so we say to all of you, what would happen if you just enjoyed the moment you're in and let it evolve into more moments of joy? Then what does the universe want to bring you but more of that? Joy, joy, joy. And the universe knows you want certain beautiful things in your life and what makes you happy. So keep sharing in that relationship with the universe in that way. That would be beautiful. Okay, next question.
Magic.
Magic,
I apologize. Yeah. I apologize in advance for the pronunciation of the next person, but Roika Jurasic, what would be the human's highest DNA capabilities that we are completely unaware of at this point in time?
The DNA capabilities. Well, we want to remind you that you are only limited by your thoughts, by your belief systems. And we talked about this before, that mankind is doing things now physically that 20, 30, 40 years ago would never even be thought of or as capable of doing that. And the physicality of the humankind has already evolved so much if people actually pay attention and look at that. And the mind is the powerful source in all of that, right? You look at those who do the, what do they call, parkour, or the ones who are doing the leaps and the jumps and the standing on top of extremely tall buildings with no ropes or chains to hold them, and they just stand there with ease and grace, like that, like they were born to do it. Things that were unthinkable in the past, people are doing those now. Use that as your gauge. There are no limits with the DNA, only the limits you put on it. And as you keep evolving, as you keep opening, as you keep spiraling into this ascension process, this great awakening, this spiritual quest, As you create it, so it shall be. If you believe it, if you think it, if you desire it, then it is obtainable. And so we say there are no limits. If you can think it, you can create it. How's that for an answer?
Powerful.
Powerful. Let's make a t-shirt. Yes, we think there's already a t-shirt. Just go get it. Okay, what is the next?
Okay. The next one is from questions from the Goods, who woke up with loving energy crystal orb floating above them, reached up to touch it and rose up through the ceiling. What was this?
We're like, oh, you mean like the one that Judy has above her head? Yes. As we're looking at that, there's so many answers that could be. So when the question is, when they rose up, they touched it, they rose up through the crystal. Okay. And they want to know what that was and who came to get them, right? Maybe that's not part of the question. That's what Tracy's in here going, who was that? You're part of a Palladian collective that was checking on you. You asked, we want to say you graduated. You graduated to a new level of understanding. Remember, a while back, we told everybody you're going to be able to start remembering your journeys now. Do you remember that? We spoke about that many months ago, we think, weeks at least, months probably, where we said you're going to start graduating into these places where you're going to start remembering things. So when you come back, you're going to set it up so you can remember that you've been somewhere. And that's what you did. You go through this portal often. Maybe not every night, but most nights you'll go through this portal and it takes you into the other worlds that you want to visit or see. You do have another body and another planet. It is a Palladian body. And you go like an avatar, yes, and you go there and your essence will encompass and become part of that avatar or that body. Actually, the one that you're in here is the avatar. That is probably more the original body, and this is the avatar. But you go back and forth. There are bodies. If we don't lose you as a collective when we say this, there are vehicles throughout the planetary system, and your essence can go visit those vehicles. So let's say you want to go to watch a Star Nation collective panel, and so you go and your essence can move into a vehicle or a avatar, and then you can move about the space station or wherever it is, the planetary system that you go to visit. Your essence can move around like that. We do feel like there is a true form that is only yours in this Palladian collective, and that we're looking to see if you went to a ship or if you went to Pallades itself. We think in this particular one, you went to Pallades with your collective. They came to get you, you went, and that you left this memory for yourself so that you could start remembering these journeys. It is the first step in you remembering. So as you acclimate to this idea, as you become comfortable with this idea, and it's no longer a vibrational discrepancy for you, then you'll get to remember more next time, and then you'll get to remember more next time. And don't think that this is going to happen overnight. This happens over time because you need time to acclimate the energy of the remembering. Remember now, these are all very hive mind collectives, right? So what affects one affects all. So they need to make sure that your vibrations in the human form are not going to come from a place of fear or anxiety, because if they let you through that portal with fear and anxiety, then you're going to bring that into their vibrations, and they're all going to feel it. And so they have to be very careful. We are just as we come into Tracy's body, if she were in fear, we would not come, because that could, if I came into Tracy's body while she was anxious and in fear about something, then what would happen is it would be like a little virus in your computer, right? It would start affecting all the programs. And so you don't want that. We don't want that. Nobody wants that. And so they're working with you to acclimate. And that's happening to quite a few of the listeners. There's a few of you resonating with that. And we want you to understand that when something is said that is pulling your attention, it is important to listen, because we are talking to you as well. You may not have the full memory that we are speaking of with this rainbow orb, but you might have something different happening for you. So just know that they are acclimating you to the visits, to the traveling, so that you can start remembering more and more of them. But you have to understand that you need to be at peace and enjoy in that, and not in fear or wondering what happened to you. And so bring yourself into the peace and joy of it, and ask when you get there to remember more. I want to remember more, if that's in fact what you want to do. Okay. Did we answer that one enough?
Oh, it was a fabulous answer as always. So much information.
This is why we bring Judy. She always tells us how good we do, and that's why we like to bring her here. She tells us how good we are. We enjoy that.
I love the image of the different avatars, throughout, where you can just pop into one and experience what's going on there, and pop into another one and experience what's going on there. I think
that's very wonderful when you get to remember that your soul is bouncing around all over. You get to have multiple experiences. You are not just this one experience.
No, definitely.
How fun is life now, you guys? You just got into the carnival ride of being expansive. How fun is that?
I can very much relate to that, to my sleep hours last night. I was popping all over the place.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe the next transmission from you, Judy, can be one of your stories of what planets were you going to in your sleep state.
I'd also like to be able to fully remember that myself.
It is a different experience than when you are going through a journey work or a meditation, and you are visualizing and imagining and being in the experience in that way. It is different because you are actually in a physical experience like you are here in the human form. You just haven't been able to remember because there's too much fear around remembering. But now people are waking up and the fear is dissipating. And so now it's a beautiful thing to get to remember more and more. So what would a world be like when you can be in this body, and then you go to sleep in this body, and you get to be in another body? How fun. So go ahead, ask us more questions.
Okay, the next one is from Janice, who just recently had a waking vision of a coloured rainbow spreading over the entire earth. Floating over this rainbow was a female tiger, who she calls Myrthras, who, when you look into her eyes, you see all the stars of the universe. To her left, floating over this rainbow, was a male peacock with the feathers fully displayed. It felt like it was another portal opening. What do you think it means?
There's definitely a message from the animals. Just like in your Native American cultures, they have the power animals, the shaman journeys with the animals. You are having a similar experience, and to look it up. Was the first one a tiger? Is that what you said?
A female tiger, yes.
Female tiger. And so thinking about the power of that, beautiful feline energy, beautiful mothering energy, but also very powerful and very striking. And do not mess with the mama tiger, right? You do not mess with that. And then with this beautiful peacock as well. And do you like the rainbow themes we have going on? And Judy brings the light above her head in these rainbow colors. And then we have all these rainbow questions. And so as you are moving through these spectrums of light, you are learning, you are growing, you are getting stronger, you are seeing yourself in a bigger, broader, more expansive way. And what does a peacock do but throw its feathers up and say, look at me? And then they shake those little feathers. And it is a beautiful, majestic bird that is on display, right? And they are showing off, they're showing their beauty. They're showing how magical they are. We see it as a very powerful thing. We see you as stepping into the beautiful energy that you are, and it's time for you to start showing that. It's time for you to start bringing that into light. And you use the word portals, but what we see is that you are being charged, you are being energized, you are being brought through these beautiful, we want to say, not only are you being activated, but you are being healed when you go through the journey of the lights. And you are going through the journey of the lights, you are bringing in the animal spirits, you are bringing in your higher self, you are bringing in the healing, you are bringing in the vibrations. And it's a very powerful time for you to start just expanding, be the observer, look at what's going on in your world, give the sage advice when you have it. People need to hear what you have to say. We want to say that to everybody again. People need to hear what you have to say. Go ahead and say it. Speak your truth. Be out there with your truth. Be honest with your truth. It's a beautiful thing. And as you are moving through that, as you are, it just feels like there's so much expansion in this journey that you have described for us. And it's Janice, right? Is that the right name?
That's correct, yes.
Yes. Janice, you are moving through this most beautiful spectrum of light. They're showing us that you could sit with this and move that rainbow energy of light through all the grids of the earth, the collective consciousness, the grids, the pressure points, the meridians of the earth itself, bring it to the heart of the earth, expand it out in many different ways, bring it to the multiple dimensions of the earth that you live on. That is another thing that we forget to talk about sometimes, is that you are just one dimension of the earth at this time. There are many dimensions layered in this wonderful world that you live in. And so there are other realms within the realm that you have. You can, as you keep shifting your energy, you are moving into these abilities to see the other realms, to experience the other realms. Maybe you see something out of the corner of your eye, and when you look, it's not there. And it's not always that it's a ghosty, right? It's, you got to peek into one of the other realities that is playing out, that is overlapping your reality. So many beautiful things of energy today, and information and reminders that there's so many layers to this experience that you are having. And to enjoy these experiences, be in awe, be awestruck by it. Be in that childlike wonderment, be in that space of learning and expanding and growing, and you're going to have a great time when you bring yourself to that place. Okay, what is the next one?
The next one is from Raymond, who, whilst out in nature, had a very clear vision of the helper teams and friends on a ship. He feels very connected to them and has listened to himself and learnt more about them. But is there something helpful that they can know about this connection?
We want to understand, he goes on a ship, is that right?
He had a clear vision of his helper teams and friends on a ship. Didn't actually say he was on it, just had a vision.
We're looking. What do they want to tell us about that? Research. He has an inquisitive mind for a reason. He is a researcher. He is here to collect information. He observes, he looks, he sees, he experiences, he touches, he tastes, he smells, he hears. All the things that he does, it is all research. We like how they keep repeating that. This is part of a team that he works with. It is similar to what we said before, where there is a body waiting for him there. It is part of a team he works with to do research of the planet, see where we're at, see how the evolution is going, see how the system is. He says his energy, his higher self is saying it was quite an honor to be selected, and he was quite excited to come in. But maybe his human self is saying, what was I thinking? But it is an honor to be here at this time. It is a great honor to be here at this time. and to be reminded of that, because we know that it doesn't always feel that way when you are going through the turmoils of life. You may not always feel like this is, why did I choose this? Why did I pick this? I don't ever want to come back here. And those might be the thoughts and words that you are feeling when you go through the denser energies of the planet. But we say to you, again, open to the flow of the things that could be, the possibilities that could be. Why spin your wheels on what isn't working or what might not work? Why not put your time and your energy on other possibilities, the things that you desire? And it is quite the lesson in this reality. It is quite an advanced lesson to be able to choose your thoughts, to choose the energy you put behind them, and to recreate and understand that you are the programmer, and everything around you is the mirror of that program, and you get to change it. And sometimes it takes a little time to change it, and sometimes it can happen in an instant, and it is quite a powerful thing. And so he is part of the research of how is all that going. And he is down here to create and to manifest and to experience and to love and to jump in with both feet in all directions if he can. The more experiences, the better. We hope that that makes sense. And maybe this is someone that is quite adventurous. We're not sure. But if you are not quite adventurous, it might be time to start looking at what is the next adventure you could take? What can you experience? And get out there and start living that life if you're not already doing it, because you are bringing back as many experiences as you can so that these collectives have information to help evolve the planet and help to create more frequencies of higher vibrations for those who are ready to level up to. Maybe that is how we want to say it. The frequencies that get sent into the planet, some of them only few can reach. And he is one of the ones that if he put his mind to it, he could reach these frequencies. So that is a wonderful thing to know. Do you think we answered his question?
Always lots of information, Daniel, in your answers.
Beautiful. Always lots of information. We like to keep looking, don't we? We're very inquisitive.
Absolutely.
We're one of those annoying people. What's that? What's that? What are we doing over here? Why is that happening? So we hope that that is okay with the collective. We ask more questions. We look deeper.
Yes. No, it's always good to have that expanded information coming in.
Beautiful.
Wonderful. So now Donna says about 10 years ago, she herself and her mother and her daughter saw a large orange light like a sun come to look at them at close range. There was no heat, no noise, and then it seemed to blink and disappear. Could you tell her what that was, please?
Do you like how a lot of these questions are very similar? The visits, remember, these stories all are the same. We said, many of you have had these experiences. They may have shown up differently. You wanted to remember. You want to remember. You want to know where you're from. You've set up these clues for yourself. You set these things up. And so the orange orb that they saw, we're looking to see if we can find the origin of that orb. Well, for lack of anything more extraordinary, it feels like it's from the fairy realm itself. And that it is energy, a ball of light that was shown to them. It was a download. It was not only for them to remember that there's something more to life than just than what is appearing in their physical realities, but it was also a download or an activation for them, a deeper activation. And it keeps unraveling. It keeps unraveling. It's like that thread that you pull on that just keeps going and going, right? It keeps unraveling within them. It was implanted, it was activated, and it is helping them to find their way, navigate their way to their enlightenment, what they came here to accomplish and do. Many of you are the researchers. Many of you are bringing information back and data, collecting data, and looking at different ways that this world could evolve. What's another way that, how else can we help to raise those frequencies, to move this, to level this system up? And so it's much similar to that. But we do feel like the orb brought them, each of them, a download or an activation of sorts, and that it's kind of that time release capsule, right? It releases over time. It's not going to overwhelm them with information all at once, but it's almost like somebody put the Akashic records in your mind, and you have this resource. You have this resource that was downloaded into you, and that you can, if you sit there and ask questions, all of a sudden you have some very detailed answers. And it's not just the higher self, it's because you store the information within the mind. It's been activated within you. So hopefully that is a good answer to hear as you are pondering the orb. The other thing we want to say to all of you is, if you have a different answer, if something different came to you as to what you thought it was, you need to trust that. Remember, we ask you to use discernment. Only take the parts that feel right. If our answer does not feel right for you, remember to listen to your gut and to your own answer, because your guidance system is going to be plugged right into you where we are looking for it. And we are trying to pull that information in for you. You're connected directly to it. And so we say to you, always trust your own selves first. Okay, next question.
Next question is from Tom, who was prompted to undertake quite a long journey to go and visit his grandmother, who he hadn't seen for years. So he was there for a little bit of time. And the grandmother did something out of the norm on the first day. He made a promise he'd visit every day until his trip was over. The next day, she had a heart attack and has been in a coma since. So he would like to know, why did she and the universe plan this so precisely, and what messages does this hold for him and anyone else that might relate to that situation?
He left somebody out of that equation, didn't he? What did she and the universe have in store for that? Okay, Tom, yeah, you didn't have anything to do with that and getting there sooner. What did you and the universe and your grandmother have? You all are connected, you know, the universe knew, and it was very important for you to have that interaction. It was very important for you to have that memory, because we get a lot of chills with this. Your grandma is a very powerful being from the star nations, and she's going to work directly with you when she transitions to the other side. And she needed to make one last very conscious connection with you, so that the activation between the two of you could be rekindled. There is a lot of diamond energy between you and your grandmother, and we do think that the parent that is involved, the parent that this is their mother, they're also being activated in a similar way. We keep seeing the diamond energy with you, Tom. Diamond energy. What does that mean? We hear in our head. What does that mean, diamond energy? Well, we'll just leave it there. Okay, bye-bye. No, just kidding. The diamond energy is a very crystal clear, very high vibrational communication tool. And you should have very clear communication even right now, as your grandmother, if she has not transitioned since you wrote that, if she is still in that coma state, then we say you can talk to her, you can communicate with her, and to start working on that immediately to make that connection. You do not have to wait. Even if she recovers, you'll have it. There was 3 of you that planned this, 3 of you that planted the seeds for this interaction. We do think, is it his mother's mother? Is that correct? Or do you have that information?
I don't have that information.
There are 3 of you that planned this. It is the grandmother, the child, and then you, the grandchild. And what we see with this is that we see you standing on a ship, you are in different forms, standing on a ship. designing this. You're designing, you're talking it over, you're deciding what you're going to do and implementing it. And that is why all the plans changed, everything shifted, and everything is in order. We don't know who keeps coming through. They're very okay. So they want to make sure you know everything is in order. Everything is in order. You are going to, you might have dreams about your grandmother that brings you messages, but if you are willing and open to it, this energy between you and your grandmother that got activated, it is going to be very strong, and she may be communicating with you very strongly after she leaves the body. And so with that, it is going to open up, it is going to open up psychic abilities within a lot of people around you, those that you interact with. It's not only opening you up, it is going to be putting that into that etherical grid, that collective grid for everyone, all of humanity. It's part of the awakening. It's a big part of the awakening. You're putting in the, I guess you would call it the mediumship, right? Your mediumship. You're putting in the psychic abilities to communicate with those who are no longer in a physical form on the human or on the earth realm. But it also opens you up to connect with more of the galactic councils as well, as people start to open up to that as in addition. So they will start with their loved ones, and then it'll grow into their masters and teachers and galactic benevolent energies that are around them. That is another one that was very big.
It sure was. I felt quite
very
a
big energy today. There was very big energy today. A lot of information coming through for everybody. And so much is shifting in this planet. Isn't that, we feel the shift and change just moving through this planet like electricity just moving through. And so, of course, there's a lot of energy today. And of course, it was important for us to be here with you and connect with you in this way to bring these little pieces of information. So, Judy, we thank you again for always being there with us to help bring forward these messages. And we thank you for that. And with that, what is the next question?
Well, thank you. The next one is from Julie, and is trying to get a head around how past lives are simultaneous. So everything is, all the existences are happening at once, and doesn't understand how, if you end one life, what happens if you've in all these other lives.
So she is wanting us to explain the all time is now, or everything is happening simultaneously.
Everything is happening simultaneously, but when you exit one aspect or one existence,
it is because Julie is trying to put this in the human form of a time aspect.
mm-hmm.
You experienced time when you were on Earth. Time is not something that gets experienced anywhere else. Well, maybe not anywhere else. We don't want to say it like that. Time is not a thing. It is not real. It is an experience that was created for you to have, so that you come in, you feel like you spent all this time here. But when you leave this planet, you'll realize that you didn't, that you didn't spend all this time here. So think about a dream. When you dream, you have all these experiences in this dream, but when you wake up, you realize that you had only been asleep for 15 minutes, right? And yet you had this extraordinary dream that felt like it took hours and hours, and you had all of these experiences. Does that make sense? And then you wake up and it's been a 15-minute nap. That's kind of what life is, right? So when you let go of the concept of time, and you understand that you have come in and had many multiple experiences, you could come. So let's say you leave this body, you leave this lifetime, and you say, I want to come back, but I want to experience the 50s. And so you come back into the timeline on the 50s, or you can come into the timeline in the 1700s, or you could come into the timeline at 2055, whatever it is that you are choosing to do. It is all spiraling and moving at the same time. It's all happening at the same time, and you can bounce around and have different experiences throughout all the different timelines and all the different experiences. Now, that can happen. Tracy's showing me a TV show that would explain it, but we don't know. She can't remember what it's called. But it's a Netflix series where the whole family has some sort of superpower, right? And so anyways, they all get thrown into the future, but they all got thrown into the future at a different time. So one of the siblings gets put in, let's say 1955, another one gets thrown into the 1980s, another one got thrown into the 1990s, and so on and so on. And so this all happens at the same time. They all got thrown into a part of the history at the same time, but they ended up in different timelines or time spectrums of that timeline. And then as each one of them comes in, the other one that came in before them is now aged and older and looks different and has been doing whatever they've been doing up to that time. Yet the one that just came into that timeline feels like they just left them a moment ago. You see, so all this time happened for the one that came in first, and then all the time happens for the next two until the next one shows up. But the ones that keep showing up in the future, for them, it was just a moment ago that they saw each other. Time is a very odd concept, right? You can move through time. You can, there's a lot of quantumness to it all. And it's very, very malleable. You can move it around, you can change it, you can jump into it, you can have different experiences with time. But when you're in the physical form, it's a little bit more difficult to what do we want to say? Manipulate time. When you can still do it in your human form, you can still do it. How many times have you been driving a car and you say, oh, I wish I was home, and you start thinking about that, and then next thing you know, you're pulling in the driveway and you're like, wow, how did I get here so fast? Or you're spacing off and thinking about something else, and you arrive somewhere. They tell you how to manipulate time, right? They say, oh, you're running 5 minutes late, don't look at the clock and don't speed, you're going to get there right on time. And just keep announcing, I'm going to get there right on time, and you'll find that you're walking in with a minute to spare or something of that nature. It has happened to every one of you that are listening. Time has been warped or stretched or manipulated in some way. So when you take the concept of time out, you'll start to understand that you can be living in all these different lifetimes in all these different places. And it does affect the future, because the future is a real thing, yet it is not, right? And so you could be in a lifetime in one of these other places and still have it affect. You could have future lifetimes affecting this lifetime. And so if you've gone into a future lifetime and then you come into this lifetime and then you go into that lifetime behind you, and then you go into that lifetime that's parallel to the one you're living now, there's so many different ways to experience this reality that you have. And we fear that we don't have all the words to explain it, but we hope that did it some justice to help everyone understand that, yes, in its own way, it's all happening now. And yes, in its own way, it's all happening on the timeline as well. And so you are having an experience that has a history and a future. You are having those moments, but you can move through those moments too. And your capabilities to move through time are becoming closer. There are some who already know how to do it, and they move through time. And as there's been many shows made about, be careful about manipulating time, because you're creating a new timeline. Every time you do it, there's a new timeline created, a new reality or an alternate reality created from that. And so it's a very tricky thing, isn't it? Anyways, maybe that isn't a topic for another day, because that could go on and on. But
and mind stretching, yes.
It is very mind stretching. We hope we help Julie understand it, but we know that there's a lot there to take in. What is the next question?
There just actually was a second bit to that question too, and that is, does the soul leave the body prior to a painful death?
Usually, yes. We want to say that would be depending on what the soul wanted to experience.
Okay.
And so if there was a reason for them, we don't think many people would choose this, but if there was a reason for the soul to experience the painful death, then they might allow for that to happen. But usually the soul extracts from the body if a painful death is upon them. So we would say in most cases, yes, that would be accurate.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So how's Tracy's energy holding up there?
She is fading a little, but we can keep, how many more questions do we have?
We're only about halfway through, so we've probably got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 8 or 9 more.
Let's see how far we can go. Let's see what we do today.
Jordan would like to know, what is the civilization that you keep seeing in the sky?
Well, Jordan is on the East Coast. The civilization that is in the sky is the Crystal City. And again, we have said this before in the past, that those who are ready will start to see the Crystal City. So congratulations, Jordan. You are seeing the Crystal City. We say Crystal City, and we always want to clarify, the city is not made of crystals. It is crystalline energy. It is the frequency that it is resonating at. And so the crystalline city maybe is what we should say, or the crystal vibrations. But it is a high vibrational alternate reality, much like the fairy realm. This is another realm of the earth. Isn't it fun how all these things tie in? We talked about the different realms and layers of the earth, and then here's another question that's going to get us to talk about that. But yes, the city lives in an alternate reality, and so Jordan is able to see the alternate reality. So able to see two realities, the third dimensional earth human experience in the crystalline city that is sitting over the East Coast. So
that leads in beautifully to the next question from Musical Vibes, because that wants to know exactly what is meant by the crystalline body and how we are becoming more crystalline, and wants to know more about crystalline energy.
So the crystalline energy is a frequency. It is a vibration. A lot of people think that their bodies are going to disappear when they enter into a fifth dimensional reality. You always have form, just like you have a third dimensional physical body right now in the 3D. You're in the third dimension, and so you're having a third dimensional physical body experience. When you reach the fifth dimension experience, you're still in an embodiment. You still have a form, and that form in the fifth dimension will feel solid to you, we believe. We don't believe you'll have a different experience. We are, as Arcturians, we have physical bodies, as the Palladians, as the Syrians, they all have a physical body. But if you were to see us in the physical from a third dimensional eye, if you could see our bodies, they may seem transparent to you because they are vibrating at a different level than the third dimensional density. And so crystalline embodiments are just a vibration frequency. And when you are in the same frequency as the crystalline energy, it would be just like seeing a friend or a foe in your third dimensional reality. You can see them, you can touch them, you experience them, you hear them. They have an embodiment, you have an embodiment. It's the same thing. But if a third dimensional being saw a fifth, sixth, seventh dimensional being, they might see them as being more translucent, or having invisibility, or just being like a light body because their vibrations are different. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and move forward.
We actually have another one from Renzo, which was about how do you know if you are accessing a portal, and when you do access a portal, what can it do, or what could happen?
That's a big question. How do you know when you're accessing a portal? Well, many people unknowingly have portals opened all over in their homes, and that can be a good thing, a chaotic thing. It can be when you sit in a meditation and you have a special spot, like Tracy has her pyramid room. She goes and sits in her pyramid room. She's opening up a portal there of energy. She is setting an intention to move into a higher vibration, experience something that's a little more out of body for her, and to go into these other realms and realities. And so that is a portal, and that is an experience she could have. Now, you could go to a bar and you could drink and get yourself a little bit loopy and kind of feel a little bit disconnected from your body. And then you go home and you're in this maybe a grumpy place or a bad place because you were depressed or sad or feeling anxiety. And then you can open up portals to that energy, those lower frequencies and all of that. And then you start noticing that you're stubbing your toe and things are breaking down in the house or whatever might be happening from the denser energies, because those are more fear-based energies, not good, bad, or different. They are just energies, and they are experiences that you are having because of those energies. And so many different kinds of portals can be open, portals to other planetary systems, portals of communication, portals of energy that are of influence of your home or your life. And so we say to you, what kind of portal would you like to open? And if you are experiencing things within your home, ask your councils and ask the angels, ask all those that you call on to close the portals and only open up portals that are of highest vibration in your home, and only when it is appropriate to do so. So that you are not always walking around your house in a daze because you're not connected to your body, because you're in that higher realm of portal world, right? And you're like, oh, I forgot to do this, and oh, I forgot to do that, because you're not in your body. So you want to make sure that you are being somewhat mindful of that. But if you are having negative experiences in your home, or you're noticing that the energy of the home is getting grumpy and disgruntled, go through, clear the energy of the home, close the portals, and start fresh. And only open up portals of the highest beautiful frequencies. And check when you are scanning your house, check below, check the earth, check the land it sits on, move it out to all the corners of the property, go in all directions to infinity, and then see everyone in your block, in your neighborhood, in your surrounding area also receiving those beautiful healings and energy, and the homes being cleared, the portals being closed, and only highest and beautiful vibrations being allowed to be opened in the home. And that's what we would have to say about portals. There are a lot more people that know how to bring those energies in, or maybe are stumbling upon it by accident, not realizing they are doing it, and opening and closing portals all over the place. So that is actually something that is going on quite frequently in the world today, as more and more people are opening portals within their homes, and especially if you have young children that are afraid to go to sleep in their bedroom at night, there's probably a portal open in there and they're feeling that energy. Rather, it's usually when it's a higher vibrational energy, they're not scared of it. So if they're scared of it, or there's a monster in the closet, go close the portals in the bedroom. There's probably some way, somehow, portals got open there. Sometimes it's just the shift of the earth is moving through these ley lines, these meridians of the earth, and those can open up portals. So there you have it. There's so many answers to that question, and that's just a few of them. So we'll leave you with that, as that gives you a lot to think about.
Okay. The next one is from Sonia, who saw at least 4 faces in the clouds and wants to know what the message of seeing the faces was and who were they?
We are getting in the energy of the 4 faces of the clouds. It is interesting. We're going to go back to you are breadcrumbing yourself to remember who you are. The 4 faces in the clouds, we want to say to trust what you get with those 4 faces in the clouds, because we are looking at connecting to that. And sometimes answers come in very, very strong for us, and we will go blah, 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 and we will dish that out to you. This one, it feels like we are trying to connect to this energy, and it feels like it's very far away from us, and we're not sure why that is. It feels like something that should be right here is way, way off in the distance. And so we're asking, what is the purpose of keeping this far away? Sometimes when this happens, it's because it is not for us to give you the answer. This is your journey. You're supposed to be getting the answer. You're supposed to be trusting yourself, and you already got an answer. Now we're starting to get it. You already got an answer. And so they want you to trust your answer that you received. It is not for us to tell you. You want to open up. Okay, we see this with you people. With you people, look at how we talk to you. With you beautiful souls, you'll come in and you'll say, okay, I want to open up and I want to have these experiences and I want to expand my mind. And then they do something mind-blowing, like throw faces in crowds, right? And then you go to somebody else and ask them what that means. You see what we're saying? They gave you this so that you could open up and expand and explore and see what it is. You are only looking to us for validation of what you already know. And so here it is. It's what you already know it to be. There's your validation. And so with that, we say anyone else that is experiencing things like that, seeing their signs, we want you to start trusting it. We understand that when somebody else is seeing the same thing, experiencing the same thing, or gives you the same answer, it is very validating. But we also want you to understand that if somebody else's answer does not fit for you, that you use your discernment and say, no, that doesn't feel right. I think it's this, and trust that. It is in your heart the way it is for a reason. Multiple people can see the same thing and it can mean something different for each and every one of them, and each and every one of them is right. So just be okay with what your information is. You don't need to validate it through anybody else. You are receiving that perfectly, and we see all of you expanding in this beautiful way. Trust that you are the magical being that you think you are, or that we think you are, maybe. Yes, trust the magical being we think you are, because that's an extraordinary being and an extraordinary, beautiful insight. What a gift that was to get the faces in the clouds and to trust what you believe that is. Okay, next question.
All right. Next one is from Tammy Lee. And welcome to the community. As I say, they're new. Any suggestions to help with using visualization during workshops, as there's trouble doing that?
This is our best advice for you. Quit trying. Quit trying to see something. One of the things that you must know is that you will not see it with the physical eyes. You're seeing it with the imagination. That's what the third eye is that imagination piece, right? So if we were to say, see a red bouncy ball, everyone's heard that one before, right? Or if we were to say, don't see a red bouncy ball, now all you can see is the red bouncy ball, right? So if you were to imagine yourself holding a red ball, how is that showing up in your imagination? You're not seeing it with the physical eyes. And because we gave you an assignment of what to see, it made it a little easier. You don't have to go look for it. You're not trying to create it in your mind. You are seeing a red bouncy ball, right? So what we've had Tracy do in her office is to work with people with their imaginations. So when you feel blocked in that way, when you go, okay, I went and sat down for a meditation and I wasn't able to focus on anything, couldn't see anything. All I see is black. It's always black. I don't see anything. Or I feel like I'm making it up. Judy hears that one too, right? When you're in session, I feel like I'm making it up. And we told Tracy, great, let them make it up. Make up the biggest fairy tale you can. And we say that to all of you. When you are in your meditation, make it up, make it up, make it up. If you feel blocked, make it up. So right now, we're going to do it with you. We're going to imagine that we are, let's see, we're going to tell you a story like it was a bedtime story. So once upon a time, we're going to tell it to Judy. Once upon a time, Judy was a beautiful princess, but she did not like to wear the princess clothes. She liked to wear these raggedy old clothes that she found in a closet that was tucked far away in the basement of the castle. And she would put these clothes on and she would run around and she would play like she was one of those soldiers that she sees on the horses that she thinks is so magical. And she loved to take a stick and pretend it was a sword, and she would run around and she would hit the pillars and they would echo through the castle. And it was so beautiful, the sound it would make, that she started to play with that a little bit. And she started to find that she really liked the sound of the echoing castle. So then she found more things that would make noise. And she found pans and pots and buckets and things. And she would bring them into the castle and she would start pounding on them. And did she ever get in trouble for that? No, because she was royalty and nobody could do anything about it. And so all of the staff and all the people that worked in the castle, they would always see her. They would hide the buckets. They would hide the things that were all around that would make noise so that she couldn't find them. And it turned out the castle had never been so clean as it was when Judy was a young child in that castle. How was that for imagination? Judy's like, hey, I do like to make noise, right? I like to bang on.
I always wanted to play drums when I was young, but
we had fun playing with your energy. But you see, you can't make it up wrong. And Judy, were you able to see yourself as a child running around that castle, dressing up and playing? Yes, because the imagination got to play. And that is all anyone is asking you to do. When you go into meditation and you are finding yourself having a hard time focusing on anything, start taking yourself into other worlds. What would it be like if I was living in the water? What would it be like if I was a tree person? What would it be like if I lived in Atlantis? What would it be like if I was right now standing with the Palladian councils? See what we mean? All of a sudden, everybody's mind is boom, 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 going to these places and seeing things. And so that is how we would ask you to practice and cultivate your third eye and your imagination and your meditation and your visualization. And we hope that that has helped. And now we'll all see Judy as this little ragamuffin running around a castle making a lot of noise. Yes? Okay. So yes. What is our next question?
Jacqueline has something going on with the thyroid, and she's been holistically healing for 4 years, but can't get to the bottom of it.
Well, with Jacqueline, what we see, as soon as you said thyroid, we are seeing her singing. We are seeing her singing as if she had a career of that in another lifetime. There's another lifetime to heal here. And so when we see her singing, when we see her in this place, what happened to her? What was it that? We want to say that she was forced to, like she had this beautiful voice and she was forced to sing where she didn't want to sing. She was forced to sing music she didn't want to sing, and she didn't get to do the things she wanted to do. And there's something there where there's a lot to this story. We're not quite sure, but it will unravel for her. There was something that affects the throat. There's many lifetimes involved because we see her being hung in one lifetime that affects the thyroid. She was hung to death in one lifetime. There was something to do with her singing, but she didn't get to sing in the way that she wanted to. She was forced to sing. We want to say this was a religious background. There was something religious about this, and she was forced to sing songs that she didn't want to sing, and she didn't get to sing the song she wanted to, so she was resentful and angry and refused to sing, or did something. There was something that was done to her, maybe that something to do that hit her in the neck, hit her in the throat. There was lifetimes where she spoke up when she shouldn't have, and she got punished for that. So there's a lot of lifetimes to clear. So what we want to do right now, and we're going to ask everyone that feels like they could fall into this with us, we want to just ask for the councils of light to come in around us. We want to ask for the councils of light to heal us from these lifetimes that have brought in the burdens, the hardships, the ailments, okay, we're being asked to throw the loved ones that you can think of that are also burdened by things, by illnesses and disease and different cancers and different things of that nature. We want to bring everyone into this healing circle that we are creating right now as a council of light, as a collective of beings with the biggest and brightest of hearts. We call it in as healed. It is healed within you. Your thyroid is healed. All the loved ones that are dealing with hardships and ailments and diseases and pain is all healed at this time. We see the lifetimes upon lifetimes being lifted off of them, the hurts and the pains that they have suffered through, and in other lifetimes in this lifetime, we call it in as being lifted off. We call it in as being healed, completely healed. We call in all those things that they've been hanging on to, that they haven't been able to deal with, that they've been struggling with, that they haven't been able to digest, that is breaking their hearts, that is suffocating them, that is burdening them. We're going through body parts here, you see, and that is disempowering them, that is causing them to have anger, hurt, and pain. We ask that this be lifted from all of us at this time. We ask for this to be a universal prayer for everyone on this planet, everyone that is feeling any kind of symptom at all, that is asking for relief, that is calling out and asking for prayers, asking for relief, asking for the miracles. We call it in for them as a collective. We see it lifted. We see the healing. We see the blessing and the healings and the miracles happening all around the world, and especially within ourselves and our families and our loved ones and our extended loved ones and so on. We call it in for the ancestors that have come before us. We call it in for everyone in every lifetime that has ever lived, in every aspect of every soul that has ever been experienced. We call it in. The healing is deep within all of us. It is here for everyone to embrace now. We call it in, and let's use those voices for something beautiful to happen now. And let's all call it in together. And so it is, as we bring that in for everyone in this beautiful world that you exist in. Ooh, the healing could be so beautiful and mighty right now. And we thank you for bringing that to our attention so that we could have this beautiful moment with each and every one of you. And we thank you for everyone who is putting energy into that circle of light. And there it is. Okay, so Judy, what is the next question?
Just two more. The next one is from Lisa, and it refers to the What's at Risk session that you did. She says there's so many wings showing up in that reading. What do you have to say about all those wings?
We want to laugh because we're trying to remember. There was a session we did that's What's at Risk.
What's at risk?
What are the wings? Well, the wings that we are seeing, we're seeing the word freedom. They're wings of freedom. It's time to soar. It's time to bring yourself to higher heights. It is time to see things from a different perspective so that you are no longer so emotionally tied to them. You can see them for a different purpose. You can see meaning and healing behind each and everything that is happening. Even the worst of the worst things, maybe finding a new perspective, a new way of looking at them so that you can experience it differently. So we see the wings as a way to carry you higher, to be a form of freedom. And we want to say, take in a nice deep breath and spread those wings. We see them as a very powerful transition into something much better. What is the next question?
The very last question is from Diana and wonders what words of wisdom and hope you might be able to give to the graduating classes of 2022.
Beautiful, beautiful way to end, right? The graduating class of 2022, what a phenomenal group of people. There are many that are in the collective of that age group at this time that are going to go out and do great things. They're going to go out and invent things. They're going to find solutions to a lot of the problems of the earth. They are part of a generation of a group of beings that have come in as the first waves of beings have come in to plow the path and to make way. Now we are entering into the collectives that are here to make the changes, to bring in the new information, to be those prodigies that come up with the free energy and the devices that we talk about and the things that we have shared about the future technology. These children were raised on technology. They were born, they don't know anything different, right? And so their access to an even more advanced technology is greater than that of the older generations. And so they are bringing in, what we're hearing is they're going to be bringing in a new, easier way of life, an easier way of life. And so give them some time. They say, give them some time to get their feet on the ground. They got a little work to do to get into these positions and into these roles that they'll be playing. But they are a beautiful, beautiful group of beings, very expansive souls. There's been a few graduating classes before them that have been setting up the platforms, getting ready, and there will be a few after them as well that are part of this collective that is here to bring in new technology and a new way of being, and to reset your governments and your programs of how to live among this planet. It's time to reframe, rethink, redo, and they're here to do it. They're here to help you, and they're here to help themselves as well. It's time to bring the planet back, and these kids, these are the kids that want to make sure that happens. And so there'll be you'll see a lot more of the cleaning up of the earth, the replanting and reestablishing of more of nature within your planet, more trees, more, what do we want to say, recovery of the planetary system, and working with the planetary system instead of destroying or eliminating or over processing of it. And so that is what we have to say. We are all excited to see this group of kids finally making it to the point where they are going to be out into the world. There are some that are going on to colleges that will teach them even further, and then they'll keep expanding and growing. So we think within the next 10 years, you're going to see an extraordinary amount of change in your technology, far beyond what you've already seen. And what you've already seen has been pretty extraordinary. So buckle up, it's going to get good. That's what we say, it's going to get good. And they're getting ready because this is what do we want to say? We're seeing the collapse of the old systems taking place, and it does seem like it's moving slow from the perspective of being in the earth timeframes as of right now. But as these collapsing systems come into play, these other generations are coming in to make something new of it. And we do see it as being a very bright future coming in fairly soon for everyone. We know you'll see some of those changes next year. You will see more of those changes coming into place, as 2022 is still part of the collapsing. You're going to continue seeing collapsing, but now you're going to, as we spring into 2023, 2024 especially, and from 2024 on, you're going to see a lot of improvement, but you'll start to see it happening and coming in 2023. So very exciting times coming up ahead. How about that for a great way to close this out and bring you back, Tracy? Any other questions before we bring her back?
No, that's been wonderful today. Thank you, Daniel. As always, just an absolute treasure trove of information.
We thank you so much for letting us be a part of your day, be a part of your experience, and to everyone that has been watching and everyone that has come later to watch, we thank you so much. So much of your energy was so incredibly powerful today. And that, of course, always brings us in even stronger. And so we thank you so much for letting us be a part of that with you. Thank you, Judy, for everything that you have done. Tracy says, can you close it with another prayer from your light language? So we will bring her back and let you do that. Thank you.
Thanks for that.
We'll bring that back. I'm getting to peek over here, and Janice is saying the magic is real. Yay! I love it when you guys quote that for me. Thank you. So powerful, good stuff. I'm gonna have to go back and read those later. There's a lot of comments going on. Thank you guys for joining us for the live. Thank you, Judy, for asking all the questions and for compiling those and working your magic on those. We made it. We made it through all of them.
We made it through the whole lot. Yes, amazing.
I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to drink more water. But in a second, would you mind closing this out with a prayer?
I shall do my best.
All right. I love putting Judy on the spot. We
Oh,
love her
you
so
do
much.
it so well.
Don't forget, she has her workshop coming up on the 27th. 27th for us and 28th for
28th for Australia and New
Australia.
Zealand.
Yes, so we'll have you check that out. And what time is it going to be? For me, it's 3 o'clock, right?
3 o'clock Pacific time or 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
All right, perfect.
Tuesday.
I told you guys in the last video, it gets confusing.
It's really confusing.
So yes, please, we're going to have Judy's email. If you have any questions for her, just email her and title it Boomers. Boomer. That's all, just boomer. Okay.
We should explain what a boomer is, actually.
It's a boomer.
A boomer is a really big, like about a 6-foot male red kangaroo. And the red kangaroos are only male, big ones. And so because my cat is very large and he's ginger, that's how he got the name Boomer.
Put that up one more time behind you, because some people weren't here when you had that up. So we're going to have Judy put that banner back up for you.
Oops.
Oh,
I just hit the wrong spot on the button there.
Oh, there's Boomer the kitty. Okay. You guys get this information.
Boomer the lion.
That's right. He does look like a lion. We got the Lionsgate coming up in August. That'll be fun. But
it does have a mane in winter, so
I can see an A in Boomer's eyes, the letter A. Is that a significant letter for you for anything?
You know that is.
Do you see it? Can you see it? Does anybody else see it? It's in what is that? The left eye? I see it. Yeah, that side. Nope, the other one.
That one.
Okay, now bring your finger up towards the eyeball and then over towards there. Yeah, right there. You're pointing right at it. Okay, do you see it? There's an A in there. Anyways, very exciting that Cat is communicating with you through the eyes. I like it. Anyways, okay, so Judy's going to seal this off with a beautiful little light language prayer and get us all back in our bodies. And then we'll say our goodbyes to you guys. Thanks for being here with us. Okay, go ahead, Judy.
Ikanama siyama shungchia inya masikum siyama siyama a sinya uka inya siya. Thank you.
That was beautiful. I felt it in the heart chakra this time.
Oh,
all right, you guys. Yeah, so lovely. Okay, so with that, I always have to figure out how to turn off these live events, and you think I would remember from one to the next? Don't.
You just have to do more lives, Tracy.
So I'm going to end this video, which means I'm saying goodbye to you too, Judy. And thank you so much for helping me out. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You guys are amazing. Love to everyone. Mwah.
Always lots of fun.
All right, bye, everybody.